There comes a moment in every person's journey when doubt becomes too heavy to carry. You feel its weight in your chest, its voice in your mind, its shadow in your dreams. But here is the truth your soul has been waiting to hear. Doubt is not a sign that you are weak. Doubt is simply an old story you no longer need. And today, you are choosing a new story. Today, you are choosing the power within you, a power that has always been there, quietly waiting for you to notice it. Your life begins to move the instant you decide to trust yourself. You step into a new reality the moment you dare to assume the outcome you desire. This is the lecture that reminds you that you are not a victim of circumstance. You are the creator of your experience. You are the one who writes, shapes, and manifests every chapter of your reality. This is your game changer. This is the fastest way to destroy doubt forever. Doubt is just a memory, not your truth. It is a leftover imprint from a time when you didn't fully understand your power, your worth, or your ability to shape your reality. Doubt is a remnant of old conditioning, old voices, and old experiences that taught you to question yourself. But the moment you awaken to your inner strength, you begin to see doubt for what it truly is, a faded echo that no longer represents who you are becoming. It is not your identity. It is not your destiny. It is simply a memory that you are now ready to release. Every human being carries memories of fear, disappointment, and uncertainty. There were times when you reached for something and it didn't happen the way you hoped. There were times when others underestimated you, rejected you, or made you feel small. There were moments when life felt unpredictable and you felt unsafe in your own decisions. Those moments, without your awareness, shaped your inner dialogue. They built stories inside your mind. Stories like, maybe I'm not enough, maybe I can't do this, maybe it won't happen for me. But these were just stories born from temporary experiences. They were not the truth of who you are. They were not reflections of your potential. They were reflections of your past. Your past is not your prison unless you choose to remain there. Doubt grows strongest when you forget who you truly are, when you forget your creative power, when you forget that the universe responds to your inner state, not your memories. The law of assumption teaches that whatever you consistently assume about yourself becomes your lived reality. If you repeatedly assume doubt, fear, or impossibility, your life will mirror those beliefs. But when you assume confidence, certainty, and inner alignment, your reality has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that vibration. Doubt is like an outdated program running in the background of your mind. It only operates because you haven't overwritten it yet. It only speaks because for years you didn't know you had the authority to silence it. Now you do. You now understand that you can choose new thoughts that support your growth rather than limit it. You can choose new inner conversations that uplift your spirit instead of drain your energy. You can choose to align with your desired reality instead of your remembered fears. Think for a moment about who you were before doubt ever existed. Think of the child you once were, curious, joyful, trusting life completely. You didn't question whether you were worthy. You didn't question whether things would work out. You didn't question your ideas, dreams, or imagination. You believed wholeheartedly. That version of you still exists within you, untouched by fear, untouched by failure, untouched by limitation. The only difference between that version and your current self is the accumulation of memories that taught you to expect less than what you truly desire. But those memories do not define you. You are free to choose again. You are free to return to your natural state of belief. Doubt loses power the moment you recognize that it is not coming from your future, it is coming from your past. It is not a prediction, it is a reflection. It is not guidance, it is a habit. When doubt arises, it is simply your mind repeating an old pattern because it doesn't yet recognize the new path you are choosing. But just like any habit, doubt can be dissolved through awareness and repetition of a higher truth. Every time you choose faith over fear, certainty over hesitation, or trust over worry, you weaken doubt's hold on you. You train your mind to stop referencing old memories and start referencing your new identity. Your new identity is the version of you who trusts your power effortlessly. This version of you knows that your inner world creates your outer world. They know that what you assume becomes what you receive. This version of you no longer asks, "What if it doesn't work?" but instead states, "Of course it is working in my favor." This version of you understands that doubt is nothing more than a shadow, something that appears only when you stand between your past and your future. The moment you turn fully toward your desires, the shadow dissolves. Doubt is not a sign that you're failing, it's a sign that you're shifting. When the mind enters unfamiliar territory, it tries to cling to what it knows. It tries to protect you by reminding you of past disappointments. But you are not here to live from the past. You are here to create from the present. Every powerful transformation begins with the willingness to let go of the old story. The moment you say, "This doubt is not my truth," your energy shifts. Your perspective shifts. Your entire reality starts to realign. You do not overcome doubt by arguing with it. You overcome doubt by rising above it. You rise by reminding yourself of your inner strength. You rise by choosing to believe in your vision even before you see it. You rise by honoring your desires as instructions from your higher self, guiding you toward the life you are meant to experience. The truth is simple. You are more powerful than any memory your mind tries to replay. You are more capable, more worthy, and more aligned than you have ever realized. So take a deep breath and let this truth settle into your heart. Doubt is just a memory, not your truth. Your truth is confidence. Your truth is worthiness. Your truth is creation. Your truth is endless potential waiting to be expressed. And when you choose to live from that truth, nothing, neither fear nor hesitation nor old memories, can stop the reality that is already unfolding for you. Feeling is the switch that activates manifestation, because nothing in your life can come into form until it first comes alive inside you. Your emotions are not random or insignificant. They are the very language through which you communicate with the universe. The world does not respond to what you want with your words. It responds to what you believe with your feelings. You can speak affirmations 1,000 times, but if your inner state contradicts them, the manifestation cannot flow. Feeling is the doorway, the signal, the vibration that tells life exactly what to bring into your experience. Everything you desire already exists in an energetic form. The moment a desire appears in your mind, the universe has already created the possibility for it. But desires are like seeds. They need emotional energy to bloom. Feeling is the nourishment that brings them to life. When you feel the joy, certainty, relief, or gratitude of having something before it appears physically, you are aligning yourself with its frequency. You are becoming a match to it. And in this universe, like attracts like. Your inner emotional signature becomes a magnet, drawing toward you the people, opportunities, and circumstances that mirror your vibration. It is not enough to hope. Hope carries the energy of, "I wish it could happen, but I'm not sure." The universe cannot respond to doubt. It cannot respond to hesitation. It responds to clarity, to certainty, to the feeling of already having the desired outcome. That is why the law of assumption teaches you to live in the end, to feel the end result before it shows up. When you feel the fulfillment of your desire now, you collapse the time it takes for it to manifest. You stop waiting and start embodying. You shift from wanting to knowing. Your feelings are incredibly powerful because they speak directly to the subconscious mind, the part of you that shapes your reality. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is imagined and what is actually happening. If you vividly feel loved, it accepts that you are loved and begins to rearrange your life accordingly. If you feel abundant, it accepts that you are abundant and starts attracting abundance into your experience. If you feel confident, it accepts that you are confident and begins generating situations that reflect that identity. This is why so many people struggle with manifestation. They focus on thinking rather than feeling. They think positively while still feeling unworthy. They visualize success while still feeling afraid. They say affirmations while still feeling lack. And the universe responds to the feeling, not the words. Words are intentions. Feelings are commands. When your feelings contradict your desires, your manifestations become delayed, blocked, or inconsistent. Feeling is the bridge between your inner world and your outer experience. When you practice feeling the emotions associated with your desire, you are essentially stepping into the version of yourself who already has it. You are meeting your manifestation halfway by becoming emotionally aligned with it. This alignment is what turns energy into matter, potential into form, desire into reality. Imagine for a moment a future version of you who already has everything you want. How do they feel when they wake up? How do they walk? How do they breathe? How do they talk to themselves? How do they move through the world? If you begin to embody even 1% of those feelings now, your reality starts to shift. Feeling is not about pretending. It is about awakening the emotional truth of your desired identity. This emotional truth then activates the pathways, ideas, and intuitive actions that lead your manifestation toward you. Feeling is also the mechanism through which you release resistance. When you feel your desire is fulfilled, there is no longer any space for fear or doubt. You cannot feel grateful and fearful at the same time. You cannot feel abundant and anxious at the same time. Positive emotional states dissolve. Low vibrational resistance naturally. When you elevate your feelings, you elevate your timeline. Manifestation speeds up when resistance falls away. The simplest way to activate manifestation is to choose the feeling before the evidence shows up. If you want love, feel love now by nurturing yourself, trusting yourself, and acknowledging your worth. If you want abundance, feel abundant by appreciating what you already have and acting from a mindset of sufficiency. If you want success, feel successful by honoring your achievements and focusing on your strengths. When you choose the feeling, you choose the reality. The universe does not wait for physical proof. It moves in response to emotional truth. You don't manifest by pushing, forcing, or stressing. You manifest by aligning your inner feelings with your outer desires. And the beautiful thing is, you get to choose your feelings at any moment. You can shift from fear to faith, from doubt to certainty, from longing to gratitude. Your feelings are under your control, and once you master them, you master your manifestations. Every moment is an opportunity to adjust your emotional frequency. Ask yourself often, what am I feeling right now? Does this emotion support my desire or delay it? When you choose emotions that align with your vision, you activate the most powerful creative force in existence. Feeling is the switch that turns your desires from invisible to visible, from imagine to live, from possibility to truth. The life you want is already waiting for you. The only step left is to feel it into being. Your inner words become outer results because every sentence you speak inside your mind becomes a quiet instruction to your subconscious. These inner dialogues, those quiet whispers you repeat to yourself daily, shape the way you feel, behave, react, and eventually the way your life unfolds. Your mind is like fertile soil, and your inner words are the seeds, the thoughts you plant with conviction, consistency, and emotion, eventually grow into the experiences you live. This is why people who constantly tell themselves they are unlucky continue to attract misfortune, and those who believe they are favored by life often find doors opening effortlessly. The truth is simple yet profound. The story you tell yourself becomes the story you live. Most people underestimate the power of their internal self-talk. They speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. They repeat harsh judgments, endless limitations, and fearful predictions. And then they wonder why their life reflects struggle, rejection, lack, or stagnation. Your inner words are not just harmless thoughts. They are the blueprint. They are the silent architects building the structure of your reality. Every "I can't," "I'm not good enough," "nothing works for me," or "what if I fail?" becomes a command that your subconscious takes seriously. It will rearrange your emotions, actions, and responses to match those beliefs, and your environment will eventually follow. The subconscious mind does not argue. It does not question. It does not judge. It simply obeys. Whatever you repeat with emotion becomes its truth. If you tell it you are worthy, it accepts that. If you tell it you are powerless, it accepts that too. It is always listening, always absorbing, always shaping your reality based on your inner words. This is why it is not enough to say positive affirmations when your inner narrative is filled with negativity. You cannot speak abundance for 1 minute and then whisper lack for the next hour and expect transformation. Inner alignment is the key. Your inner words must match the reality you desire. Your life improves the moment your inner words improve. When you begin to speak to yourself with compassion, courage, and confidence, everything around you shifts. You feel different. You move differently. You make decisions from a place of clarity rather than fear. You carry yourself with more certainty. You stop settling. You stop shrinking. You stop believing that your past defines you. And because your energy changes, the way the world responds to you changes too. People treat you according to the energy you embody, and your energy is shaped by the words you repeat within yourself every day. Your inner words also determine the identity you embody. If you constantly think of yourself as someone who struggles, you will unconsciously behave in ways that maintain that identity. If you see yourself as someone who is strong, capable, and deserving, you will act in alignment with that version of you. Your identity is not fixed. It is shaped by your repetitive thoughts. Change your inner dialogue and you change who you are. Change who you are and you change what you attract. Your inner words influence your emotions directly. When you think thoughts of fear, lack, or unworthiness, your body reacts with stress, anxiety, or tightness. When you think thoughts of hope, success, and confidence, your body relaxes, expands, and harmonizes. Your emotions then influence your actions, and your actions influence your results. It all begins with thought, the invisible force that creates visible outcomes. Every outer result you see right now, your relationships, finances, health, opportunities, first began as a thought. They began as an assumption repeated often enough to become a belief. Once it became a belief, it became a filter through which you saw life. And once it became a filter, you gathered evidence to support it, creating a self-fulfilling cycle. If you believe you are unworthy of love, you will accept poor treatment. If you believe you're destined for success, you will move with certainty and attract success. The world bends to your beliefs because your beliefs dictate your vibration, and your vibration dictates what you magnetize into your reality. When you intentionally choose inner words that affirm your power, your worth, and your vision, you break old cycles. You stop reliving the past and begin creating your future. You declare to your subconscious, this is who I am now. And your subconscious responds by shifting your energy, rewiring your patterns, and aligning your actions with your desires. Eventually, your outer world reflects the transformation happening within. The most powerful way to change your inner words is to become aware of them. Silent thoughts can be sneaky, repeating themselves without your conscious permission. But the moment you hear them, you gain control. When a thought like I can't appears, you can choose a new one, such as I am capable. When a thought says I don't deserve this, you can replace it with I am worthy of the best. When a thought whispers it's not possible, you can counter with everything is possible for me. At first, these new inner words may feel unfamiliar, but with repetition, they become your new truth. And when your new truth becomes natural, your life begins to move in ways you once believed were impossible. Your inner words are powerful beyond measure. They are the origin of your reality, the foundation of your identity, and the engine of your manifestations. When you speak to yourself with faith, courage, and love, your outer world begins to reflect those same qualities. You become aligned with your highest timeline simply because you chose to tell a better story within your mind. Change your inner words and your outer results will follow beautifully, effortlessly, and inevitably. Living in the end means choosing to align your inner state with the version of you who already has the life you desire. It is the art of stepping into the fulfillment before it becomes physical, of embodying the feeling of completion even when your circumstances remain unchanged. When you live in the end, you shift your energy from longing to having, from hoping to knowing. You no longer look at your desire as something distant or uncertain. You begin to feel it as something that is already yours. This shift is profound because the universe responds not to the timeline you see, but to the vibration you embody. When you vibrate as though your manifestation is complete, you draw it toward you with extraordinary speed. Fear, on the other hand, is the opposite of living in the end. Fear comes from the present moment, where your outer reality may not yet match the inner vision you hold. Fear arises from what your senses show you: lack, delay, uncertainty, obstacles. But manifestation is not created through what you see with your eyes. It is created through what you feel in your heart. When you focus on fear, you activate the vibration of separation, the vibration of not having, the vibration of waiting. You unintentionally extend the distance between yourself and your desire. Living in fear is like planting a seed and immediately doubting whether it will grow. The seed cannot flourish under the weight of doubt. It needs trust. Living in the end requires a shift in your identity. It is choosing to think, feel, act, and respond as the version of you who already has what you want. If you desire love, you live as the person who is deeply loved and fully chosen. If you desire abundance, you live as someone who is financially secure, supported, and prosperous. If you desire success, you live as the version of yourself who is already accomplished and confident. When you assume the identity of your desired future, everything begins to rearrange around that inner truth. Circumstances that once looked impossible start aligning effortlessly because your vibration no longer matches the old version of you. The greatest misconception is believing that you must wait for your manifestation before you allow yourself to feel fulfilled. In reality, the moment you feel fulfilled is the exact moment manifestation starts. Emotion is the engine of creation. When you feel the outcome internally, you activate the timeline where that outcome already exists for you. Living in the end is not pretending. It is not forcing. It is not delusion. It is alignment. It is choosing the emotional frequency that matches what you desire and holding it long enough for reality to reflect it back to you. Living in fear often feels easier because it is familiar. Fear is a survival mechanism that your mind uses to protect you from pain or disappointment. But fear cannot create new experiences. It can only recreate your past. When you live in fear, you attract more situations that validate your anxious thoughts. You end up reliving the same worries, the same patterns, the same limitations. Your mind will show you reasons to doubt. But those reasons are built on memories, not possibilities. To break free from fear, you must shift your attention to what is possible rather than what is probable. You must choose to inhabit the future rather than the past. Living in the end is an act of surrender, not force. It is releasing the need to control the how, the when, and the details. It is trusting that the universe knows the fastest, simplest, and most effortless way to bring your desire to you. When you stop micromanaging your manifestation, you create space for miracles. When you stop worrying about timing, timing aligns perfectly. When you stop fearing failure, success becomes inevitable. Surrendering to the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the key that unlocks everything. The moment you shift into the end state, your energy changes. You stop checking, chasing, or doubting. You begin to relax. You begin to trust. You begin to feel calm and grounded because you are no longer seeking. Your inner world already feels complete. And when you feel complete inside, the outer world mirrors that wholeness. You begin noticing synchronicities. Opportunities start appearing. People begin responding differently. Your intuition strengthens. You feel guided, supported, and aligned. Living in the end also transforms your relationship with obstacles. When you operate from fear, challenges feel like signs of failure. When you operate from the end state, challenges feel irrelevant because you already know how the story ends. You no longer panic at delays because you trust your timeline. You no longer question your worth because you already feel fulfilled. You become emotionally unshakable because your power no longer depends on external stability. This is the essence of manifestation, choosing the internal reality before the external one appears. Living in the end is mastery. Living in fear is the old pattern. You came here to evolve into the version of yourself who chooses courage over doubt, faith over worry, and certainty over hesitation. Your desire is not waiting on the world. It is waiting on you. The moment you choose to live in the end, the universe aligns to meet you there. You step into the vibration of completion, and everything you want begins its journey toward you. Fear loses its voice, and your manifestation becomes inevitable. Consistency rewires your reality because every repeated thought, emotion, and action becomes a pattern your subconscious accepts as truth. Your mind learns through repetition. It does not change because of one powerful moment. It changes because of constant reinforcement. When you choose the same belief again and again, the same assumption again and again, the same emotional alignment again and again, your subconscious begins to shape your outer world to match what you consistently affirm within. This is why consistency is not just a habit. It is the architect of your transformation. Many people think manifestation is a single moment of clarity or a sudden burst of inspiration. But true change happens in the small, quiet moments, the moments when you decide to stay aligned even when nothing around you has changed yet. Consistency is the bridge between your current reality and the reality you desire. It is the act of choosing your new identity repeatedly until it becomes natural. The mind resists what is unfamiliar, not because it is wrong, but because it is new. When you repeat the new belief long enough, the mind no longer sees it as unfamiliar. It becomes your default state, your automatic response, your new normal. Consistency means showing up for your vision even on days when you doubt, even on days when you feel tired, even on days when your circumstances seem unchanged. It's easy to be aligned when everything is going well. The real transformation happens when you choose alignment despite appearances. Every time you affirm your new reality, you weaken the old one. Every time you choose the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you dissolve a layer of doubt. Every time you return to your desired identity, you strengthen the neural pathways that make it easier to believe and embody that version of yourself. Your subconscious mind is trained through repetition. Think of it like teaching a garden to grow new flowers. You don't plant seeds once and walk away hoping for perfection. You water them, nourish them, care for them, and return again and again until they bloom. Manifestation works the same way. Your new identity, your new beliefs, your new assumptions, they need your consistent attention. The more consistently you affirm them, the faster they grow into the physical reality you desire. Consistency also builds emotional stability. When you repeatedly choose empowering thoughts, your nervous system adjusts. You begin to feel safer, calmer, and more grounded in your truth. You stop reacting to every small setback. You stop spiraling when things don't happen instantly. Instead of fear or doubt, you start to feel certainty. That certainty is a result of repetition. It is a result of choosing the same inner state so often that it becomes your emotional baseline. And when certainty becomes your baseline, manifestation speeds up. The universe responds most powerfully to stable, consistent energy. Another powerful aspect of consistency is how it transforms your identity. Identity is simply a collection of beliefs you have repeated long enough to accept as truth. If you consistently tell yourself you are unworthy, your life will prove that to you. If you consistently tell yourself you are powerful, your life will rise to match that belief. Your identity determines the quality of choices you make, the risks you take, the opportunities you notice, and the boundaries you set. When you consistently embody the identity of the version of you who already has your desire, you naturally begin living in alignment with that version. You think differently, feel differently, behave differently, and your external world must respond accordingly. The most successful manifestors are not the ones who try the hardest in a single moment. They are the ones who return to their desire daily. They reaffirm their inner knowing. They reinforce their emotional alignment. They choose their assumption even when their senses show the opposite. They do not give up because of temporary appearances. They stay consistent until reality has no choice but to shift. Consistency also neutralizes old patterns. Your old beliefs have been repeated for years, sometimes decades. They have been reinforced through experiences, memories, and emotions. One new affirmation cannot override a lifetime of programming, but daily repetition can. Step by step, thought by thought, feeling by feeling, you replace the old patterns with new ones. You overwrite the script, you rewrite the story, and eventually the new belief becomes stronger than the old one. That is when manifestation becomes effortless. That is when your reality begins to move with you instead of against you. The beauty of consistency is that it does not require perfection. You do not need to be aligned every minute of every day. You do not need to feel positive all the time. You only need to return to your truth again and again, even if you fall into doubt, even if you slip into fear, even if you react. What matters is that you bring yourself back. Every return strengthens your new reality. Every return builds momentum. Every return reshapes your subconscious. Over time, consistency creates evidence. You begin noticing synchronicities, opportunities flow. People treat you differently. You feel different inside. That internal shift is the strongest sign that your new reality is forming. And the more consistently you nurture that internal shift, the faster the external world catches up. This is why consistency is the secret ingredient. It transforms fleeting desire into unwavering belief. It transforms uncertainty into identity. It transforms hope into manifestation. Every repetition is a step closer to your new life. Every consistent moment is proof that you are becoming who you were always meant to be. Your reality rewires itself the moment you commit to repeating the truth of your desire until it becomes the truth of your experience. You are becoming the version of you who never doubts. And this transformation is happening quietly, powerfully from the inside out. Every moment you choose faith over fear, clarity over confusion, and intention over reaction, you shift into a new identity, one that no longer negotiates with doubt, no longer entertains uncertainty, and no longer questions its own worthiness. This evolution isn't loud, and it doesn't require force. It happens through gentle persistence, through the way you speak to yourself, through the choices you make when no one is watching, and through the thoughts you entertain when your mind tries to return to its old patterns. You are becoming someone new, and this version of you is built on trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the unseen, and trust in the power that shaped you. Doubt was never natural to you. You learned it. You absorbed it through others' fears, limitations, and unhealed wounds. But even then, a deeper part of you knew that doubt was borrowed, not born within you. Now, you are releasing it. Every time you choose to assume the best instead of expecting the worst, you break the old cycle a little more. Every time you breathe deeply instead of reacting emotionally, you weaken the pattern that once controlled you. Your subconscious mind is listening to the new truths you feed it, and slowly your inner world is aligning with the future you desire. You are rewriting the script, replacing self-criticism with self-trust, replacing hesitation with power, and replacing fear with inner certainty. You are becoming the version of you who no longer asks, "Is this possible?" but confidently affirms it is already done. You understand now that manifestation is not about begging, forcing, or chasing. It is about being the person who already has what you want, being the person who already knows they are supported by the universe, being the person who understands that assumptions shape reality more reliably than any physical effort. When you live from this new state of being, doubt naturally dissolves because it has no place in a mind aligned with certainty. This new you does not argue with the old story. You simply stop feeding it. You stop repeating the painful memories. You stop revisiting past disappointments. You stop defining yourself by moments in which you didn't know your worth. Instead, you choose to define yourself by your potential, by your vision, by the powerful inner knowing that whispers, you are always meant for more than doubt. You are learning to anchor yourself in this truth day by day, And with each day, your belief becomes more solid, more natural, more effortless. You notice now that doubt only rises when you forget who you are. And each time it appears, you gently bring yourself back into alignment, back into the end result, back into the truth that what you want wants you to. There is no need to struggle, no need to fight the old thoughts. Your only responsibility is to return to the new story more often than you return to the old one. And that is exactly what you are doing. Every time you choose the new state, you reinforce it. Every time you imagine your desire is already fulfilled, you strengthen it. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you activate it. The version of you who never doubts lives in a different vibration. This version moves with intention, speaks with confidence, and shows up in the world with a quiet inner power that can't be shaken by external circumstances. This version knows that nothing outside of you can dictate who you become. Your reality no longer controls your identity. Your identity now controls your reality. You are living from the end, thinking from the end, believing from the end, and the end result is certainty. You may not fully see the transformation yet, but you can feel it. You feel the inner shift. You feel the new assumptions forming. You feel the calm that comes with trust. You feel the old patterns losing their power. And this feeling is your confirmation that you are on the right path. You are not hoping to become this version. You are embodying them right now with every breath, every intention, every moment of awareness. You are stepping more fully into a self that is bold, grounded, and unwavering. The version of you who never doubts is not a fantasy. That version already exists within you. You are merging with them now. You are aligning with their confidence, their clarity, their inner knowing. And soon you will look back at this time and realize it was the moment everything changed. Not because something external shifted, but because you did. Because you decided to stop doubting yourself. Because you chose to believe in your own power. And because you finally understood that you were always meant to live with certainty, purpose, and unshakable faith